All right. Hello, everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I am going to be your host for this evening, where we are going to talk about, yes, how you can still get grants for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. So as you come in, say hello to me. Give that city and that state a shout out and let me know where you are coming in from. I am in Ohio. So give that city and that state a shout out and let me know where you are coming in from. Hello, Michelle from Houston. Texas is up in the house. Hello, Aisha from Las Vegas. Ooh, I was just in Las Vegas last week. Tarsher, is that right? Tarsher from Wilson, North Carolina, and Sequacia, is that right? Or did I butcher it? Is here from New York. And look at Gary representing Ohio. Yes, our state's capital, Columbus. It happens to be where I'm located. And to Mika from Fort Worth, Texas. Mika. Hello, Lisa from New York. All right. And we've got Jenny is coming in from Las Vegas. And hello, Anthony from the state of Maryland. And look at Mississippi showing up. Hello, Laura. And Eric from, is it, I'm getting ready to butcher your name, Caparis Cove. Is that it? Caparis Cove, Texas. And Tammy from Freeport. Yes, Aisha, I was literally in Vegas last week. And Robinson is coming in from St. Louis. Hello, Wilma from Oklahoma. Is that right? Oklahoma City. And Reginald from the Big D, Dallas is in the house. And hello, is it Sherika from Jacksonville, Florida? And you've got Duval, is that it? Sherika Duval. Tell me what Duval is. All right. Welcome, everybody. I am so glad that you decided to join me because I'm going to share some really important information with you tonight. And a lot of it you probably have not heard before about what's happening with grants, but you're going to be excited and I hope you're going to be encouraged. But whatever you do, I need a promise. I need a promise that you are going to share this information with other Black-led organizations because we are in this together and we are a community. And I want you to be able to share this with your colleagues and other Black-owned businesses or Black-led nonprofits because money is available. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can get it. All right. That's right. You got to share. You got to share. You can't keep it to yourself. This you cannot keep to yourself. All right. So I want you to be able to share with other organizations. All right. We're going to get started because I do have a lot of information to share with you. And as I mentioned, it is important and some of it you probably haven't heard before. All right. So welcome. I am going to share my screen. There we go. And you should be able to see the screen now. All right. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. This is my live 7 o'clock session. I was live at noon and we had such a good time. So many great questions. And I know we're going to have a good time tonight. All right. So let's get started. All right. Now, a little bit about me. Let me formally introduce myself. Wasn't that a song? I think that was a song, like a rap song or something, right? Not the best person to be talking about rap, but I think that was like a song. I'm going to tell my age. I'm just going to be telling my age all evening. All right. Yes, I am nicknamed the Grants Queen because I have won almost $20 million in grants for clients. And I don't mean just writing applications, I mean winning that money. And yes, I have been a professional grant writer and instructor for 17 years. You know, now you have to give your receipts up front because there are some characters out here. All right. Now, 3 years ago, I started my grant writing academy. All right. And I now have over 3,000 students, and they consist of nonprofits and small businesses. And I have trained over 30,000 organizations in grant writing. I teach grant writing now all over the country. to some of your smaller organizations, your smaller nonprofits, your small businesses, but I also teach grant writing for some of your larger organizations, such as the Urban League and various Department of Developments within state organizations, the National Association of Women Business Owners, Goldman Sachs, where I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program. And my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. All right. And I absolutely believe that it is my mission and my purpose to help you secure funding. All right. All right. So let me share with you how I got in this space because I wasn't always a grant writer or a grant instructor. I was a publishing executive in Pennsylvania, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, historical Valley Forge, about maybe 30 miles west of Philadelphia. And I was there for about 10 years. I had a great job, executive and publishing position, traveling the world. And then the bottom fell out. I got hurt. And when I got hurt, I went from traveling the world to literally moving back home to Cleveland, where I'm from, because I had to be seen by the Cleveland Clinic, and literally came home in a wheelchair, put everything I own into a storage unit in Cleveland, Ohio, and moved in with my sister, where I was for 4 years. It took me 2 years just to recuperate, to be able to work again. So when I tell you, I know how it is to start from ground zero, because I think I started from like sub-zero because I was hurt. But even after I was well enough to work again, I couldn't find a job. My experience was with professional publishing in Pennsylvania, right? If you know anything about Cleveland, right, you know it is not the publishing headquarters of the United States. So that is when I started my company, LaPop Consulting. And it's been 17 years. I haven't looked back. Well, once I started LaPop, one of my first contracted positions was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. So I've been on both sides of the coin. I have a business now, but I have led a nonprofit. So I want to know who is here with me today. So let me know in the chat, are you a nonprofit or are you a small business? Meaning you could be an LLC or a sole proprietor or an S corp or a partnership, or maybe you're both. Because I'm finding that a lot of small businesses are starting nonprofits. So let me know. Let me know in the chat who is here with me. All right. Small business, LLC. LLC. Excellent, excellent. LLC. Any nonprofits? I see a lot of business. Small business and nonprofit. Want to start a nonprofit. Haven't started anything yet. You'll learn a lot today, Gary. All right. And want to start a nonprofit. Also work for a nonprofit. Excellent. You're in the right place, people, because we are going to talk about grants for both entities, okay? I'm going to say that again. There are grants for both entities, for nonprofits and small businesses, all right? So back to my story. I was the executive director of a nonprofit. Now, people who know me know I keep it real. I like to keep it real. I'm just warning you tonight, right? Because you know what? We're all family tonight, right? We're all family. So I'm going to keep it real talking to you. I was not in this job, but for maybe 2 weeks. Because you know how sometimes people look like us. We are called in to do what? To save the program, to save the project, sometimes to save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Well, I was in that job for 2 weeks, and then I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary. Now, they didn't say that to me in the interview. And I'm seeing lots of yeses. Oh, yes, yes, yes. You people, you know what I'm talking about, right? Lisa says I've been there, right? I'm being asked to write a grant to save my job, thus saving the entire organization. Now, people, I had never seen a grant before at that time. I literally had no knowledge of grants. And now I'm being told that I need to write one to save the organization? Yes, I was horrified. But you know what? I did it. I did the research. I wrote that grant. I won that grant and I saved my job and I saved that organization. And then grant writing just became my most sought after service. So I went from having no experience to winning $500 grants, to winning $500,000 grants, right? I went from winning just your local grants to winning national grants, to winning multi-year grants, right? That's when the money truck came because I want all of you to claim this money and put your name on this money truck because what you will learn tonight is that the money is available. Yes, even to organizations that look like yours, right? But here's what you have to do. You can't believe everything you're seeing in the media and on TV because you would be thinking, "Oh my gosh, there's no grant money." And I can tell you, I'm going to prove to you that there are billions of dollars being given away right now, including to organizations that look like yours. I learned in this experience that you can win grants with no experience. I was able to do it. But also, I learned what you can do with grant money, right? I hear from you. I've been in this industry a long time, and I know you're tired of using your own money, yes, to pay for this passion that you have, whether it's your nonprofit or your small business. And you're tired of wearing all 20 hats and doing everything, right? You know you can use grant money to pay for your expenses, to hire help, right? Why not use somebody else's money to help pay for your expenses? Because with grant funding, you don't pay it back. They come from third-party resources. All right. So as we move through, I'm going to talk more about what you can do with grant funding, but envision your name on the money truck. All right. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Why this class is even important. I'm going to tell you what is going on with grants. I will give you some grant basics. I will talk to you about how do you prepare to apply to grants. What do you write in this application? How do you write the application so that you are attracting organizations that, yes, still want to fund you? Yes, even as a Black organization or a minority-led organization. And then how do you get notice in a sea of applications now? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about AI and how you should be using it to secure grants, and then have a bonus surprise. And then we're going to do a Q&A. Now, people, this is not the time to be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert your questions about grants. So drop them in either the chat or the Q&A box, one or the other, and I'm going to get to them. All right. And people who know me know this is a no fluff zone. All right. So I don't do fluff. So the information that you get tonight, you will be able to use to help you not just write a bunch of grants, but to win grants, right? I'm not interested in having you write a bunch of grants. I'm interested in showing you how you win grants because there is a process to this. And that is what I learned after being in this industry for many years and having won, right, over $18 million in grants. That's what I'm going to show you. Now, I'm here to help you. So you're going to get a copy of this replay, and I'm not charging you for the replay because I need for you to get this information and do what? Share it. All right. So you'll get the replay. It will be free. You'll get it tonight. You'll have it forever. No expiration date. Got it? All right. All right. All right. Yes. Make sure you're asking your questions. All right. All right. All right. Now, why are we here? We are here because we as Black organizations need funding. And are you tired of hearing about loans? I am. We want grant funding because grant funding you don't pay back. But let me share this with all of you. You can do this, people. You can write grants. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not writing some 500-page document over the course of 3 months. I know that's what I used to do. A lot of the applications now are 3 and 4 pages. I have one client just won like $84,000. She said, Linda, it was one of the literally shortest application I've ever applied. She's my student, so she's following my formula. $84,000, right? Like now, not now, right now. Black organizations winning that kind of money. Yes, you can do this, right? But understand there is a process. That's what you're going to learn tonight. Winning grants is about more than what you put in the application. That is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to say that again because it's very important. Winning grants is about more than what you write in the application. Got it? All right, all right, let's get started. Now, what is going on with grants? That's right, that's right, Gary. Forget them loans. All right. What is going on with grants? Now, we know that the federal government has cut grants, right? We know this. But guess what? They've cut the federal grants. Federal grants do not equal all grants. Grants come from thousands of resources, including your private, community, and family foundations. And yes, they give grants to nonprofits and small businesses, so you are covered. All right, that is the good news. There are still billions of dollars in grants being given away. While some people are sitting in a corner crying, thinking that there's no grant money, there are other Black organizations winning 5- and 6-figure grants, right? Including my students. So the grant money is available. You can do this. So I need for you to be encouraged. All right. Now, here's more good news. Because of the federal grant cuts, your corporations and private foundations and family foundations are literally stepping in to try to cover the gaps left by the federal grant cuts. Because guess what? The need didn't disappear. Wherever you started your nonprofit or the reason that you started your small business, that need still exists. The need didn't go away just because the government decided to start cutting federal money. So you have these local and corporate and private foundations. They are stepping in and they are increasing not only the amount of their grant funding, they're increasing the number of grants that they are providing, trying to cover the gaps. Also, more good news, your state and local governments still have grants. There's a $30 million grant right now in the state of Ohio. There's a $20 million grant in the state of Michigan. So yes, your state and local, and especially your city governments, they have grant funding. Did you know that your city government has grants? Have you met with them? Not all state and local government funding comes from the federal government. A lot of these states and local municipalities raise their own money. So yes, they are still providing grants. So that is good news. All right, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, now what does it mean? It means all minorities, women of all ethnicities, veterans, the disabled. So this is what is happening. We know that the federal government has cut DEI funding and they're pressuring foundations to do the same. But guess what? These communities is where foundations are providing funding, right? And they've been providing funding to these communities for decades, sometimes over a century. So they're in a very precarious situation, right? Because these communities is where they give their grant money, but yet the federal government is saying, stop. So what are they doing? They're tweaking that language because they're not going to stop giving to these communities, many of them, right? They're tweaking their language so that they're still able to give to these communities. But instead of using terms like Black, right? Instead of using the ethnicities or the gender like women, they're tweaking the language and they are focusing on the issue or the condition or the problem that that grant money is going to resolve. And that's exactly what you're going to do. All right. So in the grant world, we call it quiet DEI, right? It's coded language. And so you're going to be focusing on the conditions, not the categories. You're going to be focused on those barriers that you're trying to help. It doesn't matter whether you have a small business or a nonprofit. All right. So let me show you how to do this if you are serving these DEI communities. This is how you're still going to get grant money, even though DEI has been cut. Let's say you have a program where you offer youth development opportunities for Black boys. Look, that's who you serve. You don't stop serving Black boys. You tweak the language. So now you're going to say we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys, right? Look at these buzzwords, underserved, underrepresented. We know what that means, right? But this way you don't get the application pulled negatively, right? Or serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities. You're talking about the issues, the conditions, not the race. Now, you may need to do this, so be prepared. It doesn't mean you have to totally just revamp your mission, but be prepared to tweak that language and to look for these buzzwords. All right. And the same is true for women. Let's say you have a career coaching program for women. Now you may need to say our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement. I can tell you workforce development is probably the hottest area right now for grants. Or you can say providing career development services tailored to those who experience what? Unique workforce challenges like what? Caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities, right? Women, conditions facing women. We know what this means, but you may have to tweak that language. This is very important because, again, this is how you're still going to get your organization funded, even though DI has been cut. So I need to know that you understand it and you get it. So give me a yes in the chat if you do, because this is very, very, very important. All right, I got it. Yes, 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 yes. All right, all right, all right. Very good, very good. Plus, it actually broadens your opportunities to get grant funding when you focus on the issue, the condition, and not so much the race, even though you know who you serve. All right, let's get back to the basics. What do you need to know about grants? Grants are not paid back. For those of you with the nonprofits, make sure you have your 501c3. That's your tax-exempt charitable organization designation by the IRS. And if you don't have yours, it's taking about 8 weeks to get. Now, I want everybody to look at this slide. This is the amount of grant funding every single year. We just got the 2024 numbers in. This is just from foundation and corporation and bequest giving. $200 billion. That number is expected to increase this year. And guess what? Do you see federal funding anywhere on this slide? No. This is the money that is being given out every single day. So while you got people crying in a corner, you got other people who know about this who's getting this money. And now that you know about it, what are you going to do? You're going to try to get this money, right? And I want you to look at the 200 billion because you're going to see these big numbers, but do not be intimidated. Too many people look at these numbers and think, oh, Linda, there's no way I can get any of this. Focus on what you need, right? Because at the end of the day, of this huge pie, and this is a huge pie, you just need a little bit, right? A pinch of $200 billion, right? So I want you all to place into this chat. I just need a little bit. Because it comes from, it starts here, it comes from up here. Focus on what you need. Get it from up here through your fingers and right into this chat. I just need a little bit. That's what I want you to focus on because you're going to see some big numbers, but you need what you need, right? And that's what you need to focus on, right, Anthony? Nobody's being greedy, Tammy. Are you trying to get all $200 billion, Sharice? Are you trying to get all of it? No, 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 Michelle, right? Just your portion, right? You just need your portion. I'm going to show you how to get your portion, right? Okay, Lisa. Lisa said, I need a little bit, but and maybe a bit more. That's okay. Claim what you need. I'm all about manifestation. Claim what you need. Now, we're going to talk about how do you prepare to apply for these grants. This is where organizations go wrong. They look at the grant application, they download it, they complete it, they send it off, and they wonder why they get a rejection letter. Prepare to apply. First of all, I need for you to download onto your computer some kind of editing software tool. I use Grammarly. It is phenomenal and it is free. And I am a professional editor, a professional writer, and a professional grant writer. I wouldn't write without Grammarly. I love it because it literally self-corrects as you write. You download it, so you're using it with Word, Excel, your email system. So if you use it, if you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in the chat right now. And then we have this article. Make sure you're checking out the chat because we're going to be dropping some important links in the chat. This article is going to help you be a better writer. Why am I talking about this? Because I do. Tammy has Grammarly. Excellent. I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors because it is very easy to do. You want the foundations to read and understand and comprehend what you mean. All right. And sometimes what you mean isn't always what you write. Grammarly will help you with this. All right. All right. Now, how else do you prepare to apply? Get your documents in order, your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, small businesses, are you a legitimate organization? Do you have your articles, your certification? Nonprofits, you know you need a list of your board members. All of you need letters of support. Drop names if you have to. Do you know the mayor? Can he or she write you a letter of support? But they could also come from your pastor, your church, community leaders. Now, if you are currently operating, you need your financial statement, and that's going to include your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, you also need an operating budget. Now, I don't want you to freak out when you hear the term operating budget, because all it is a document where you are going to list what you think your expenses are going to be for the upcoming year. Because really, at the end of the day, you should have some idea of how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year, because it also helps you to determine how much grant money you need. All right. Now let's get to the application. I'm going to show you best practices as to how you write main components of the grant application so that at the end of the day, you're telling a story, because really that's what a grant application is. It's an opportunity for you to tell a story. Let's start with the mission because it's everything. And yes, if you are a small business, you absolutely need a mission statement, because your mission does more than just define who you are and what you do and your aims and your goals. It will align you to the foundation that's giving you money, right? Because if you see a grant that's being given by a foundation that's giving money to organizations that create motorcycles and you bake cakes, that's not for you, right? So align your mission to the mission of the foundation. So if you don't have a mission statement, people, that is homework 101 for you. All right. Now, this is it here. When you are describing your organization, you need to focus on one word: impact, because this is how foundations are giving grant money. It's based on your impact. You must track your success, because foundations are no longer just giving money to organizations that want to save the world. How are you doing it? And impact means more than just numbers. It means transformation, right? So let's say you have an after-school program. Don't just say you serve 150 students. What is happening with the students? Are they improving their test scores by 80%? Did 60% gain confidence because of your after-school program? That's measurable change. Do you have a restaurant? You have an LLC, right? A restaurant that opened. What has been the transformation in that community based on your restaurant? Have you hired people from the community? Did you start serving 100 people a week and now you serve 500 people a week? Did it allow you to maybe hire more staff, right? What has been the transformation? Track your success. All right? Because that's what funders want to see, that you're having impact based on your organization. And let's say you haven't opened. Let's say you are a startup. Now you're going to project, right? So if you have that tutoring program, you can now say, I project that once I open and once those kids complete my tutoring program, I'm going to project that they will increase their math scores by 10% and their reading scores by 15%, which will make it a lot easier for them to graduate on time. So whether you are currently open or you are going to open, write about impact. All right, got this? And then, of course, you can use testimonials and images, right, to enhance how you describe your impact. And then as you are writing, and this seems to be a little more difficult for small businesses, always talk about what issue or problem you are addressing. Why did you open? Whether you have a nonprofit or a small business, there was a reason why you opened. Talk about it. What is the issue that you are addressing? Let's say you have a restaurant. You want a $20,000 grant to relocate to a downtown location. Now, what is the problem that you're thinking about, right? Because she's making what? Red velvet cake all day. So you're thinking, like, what is the problem? Maybe it's a vegan bakery because her target audience are vegans. Or maybe it's about community development because she wants to help with the revitalization of that community. So she wants a community development grant. That's the problem she's trying to address. Whatever it is, whatever that problem or issue is, it's going to connect you to the foundation that wants to give you funding because they're giving funding in the same area, whether it's restaurants or community development. Now, how do you find out where foundations give? You go to their websites. Now, I know 90% of foundations don't have a website, but the ones that are providing open applications and RFPs do. Plus, there are ways in which you can get information about foundations, even if they don't have a website. All right. These are little things I've learned, right? After being in this industry for 17 years. All right. Now, I see some good questions, so keep asking them. All right. Now, all of you have a decision to make, though. When you are approaching a foundation for a grant, you need to decide, are you asking for an operating grant or a program project grant? Because you need to write about this. Now, we love to get operating grant money. So if there's any way that you can get an operating grant, get it. Because an operating grant allows you to decide where to put the grant money. It really helps you to shore up your infrastructure, right? Helps you to build capacity. And you get to decide, do you want to put the money towards your lease or to hire staff, to hire support, to get supplies? You decide when you get an operating grant. Now, most foundations give program project money, and that's okay because you can be a small business and still have a program or a project, right? You can be a restaurant and maybe you want to start cooking lessons to the community to increase your revenue. Or maybe you want to start a delivery service. That could be a project. So you can still absolutely pursue program and project money, even if you have a small business. But whatever you do, you must apply to multiple foundations. This is not a one and done industry. I want you to tell me why in the chat. Why do you think it is important that you should always be applying to multiple foundations, right? More than one. Because keep in mind, people, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, right? So you tell me in the chat, anybody in the chat, tell me, why do you think it is important to always be applying for grants from different foundations, right? Absolutely, Asha, to better your chance of securing a grant money. Tammy, different grants offer different amounts. Absolutely, they do. Asha, because if one denies you, another one might approve you, right? Gary says, I need a startup. There are startup grants to increase your chances of getting funded. Yes, Lisa. Absolutely. but also because grants are not guaranteed. People, be careful out there. Don't let anybody tell you they can guarantee you grant money. I hear horror stories about people being scammed because somebody told them, oh, I can guarantee you grant money. 99.9% of the time, it's a scam. No such thing. So you have to be able to apply for multiple grants, right? And there is no maximum. There is no maximum amount of grant money that you can get. So you keep applying. Now, let's go to partnerships because that is critical for the grant application. All of you must have community partnerships because foundations do not expect you to do this alone. And you can't. You just can't. You will not be successful. And I'm not speaking in partnerships where perhaps you exchange money. No, I'm speaking of community partnerships. So let's say you have an accounting firm. You could give a free tax talk every month at your local library. Libraries are tremendous partners because they're going to promote your tax talk, right? Why is this important? Because on the grant application, you can now say that you have community partners. And it increases your level of visibility. This becomes important because foundations are always looking and seeing who's doing what in their community. Some of you have phenomenal programs, but nobody knows about them. Nobody knows about your business. Nobody even knows about you even in your own community, which is why connecting with well-respected organizations can help you increase your level of visibility, whether it's the Urban League you're partnering with, HBCUs, 100 Black Men of America, the Y. Let me make this crystal clear for you. Let's say young lady has an ex-offender program. She wants to make sure that when people are released from the criminal justice system back into society, that they are successful. I want you to tell me who you think her community partner should be. Now, she's got to interview the inmates while they're in jail to make sure they just qualify for her program, right? You tell me who she should be meeting with because she wants to make sure that that recidivism rate is low. Everybody wants that rate to be low. That's the rate at which prisoners go back to jail. Nobody wants that. Who should she be meeting with? Let me know right now in the chat. Absolutely, Asha. Reentry programs, halfway houses. You don't want the people to be homeless once they get out of jail, right? The board of parole, probation, Asha is on it. Absolutely, right? And what about educational institutions? Maybe don't have a GED. Maybe they need a GED to get a job, right? You want them to be successful. This is important. Schools, Tammy, absolutely, because again, they may need to get their GED. Right, Anthony? City council people who would know about these programs, right? Because there are a lot of companies that get tax credits if they hire ex-offenders, right? And they would know of those kinds of programs. And Tammy, yes, PAL, the Police Athletic League. She's going to need to partner with the police. And then maybe they can refer her program to other organizations, right? To other jail systems throughout the county. Like you see how quickly we came up with like maybe 6 or 7? It's not difficult. This is what you're going to do. This is your homework. I need you to determine 5 organizations that you are going to partner with based on your program, right? And yes, Asha, absolutely partner with stores that can supply interview clothes, right? Many of these ex-offenders, they don't have any clothes, but they need to look nice when they interview for jobs. So yes, this is not difficult. This is your homework. 5 organizations, 5, based on your program. Does it matter again if you are a nonprofit or a for-profit? All right. Now let's talk about the money. This is your grant budget. You're going to itemize your expenses because if you need $50,000 to hire an executive director, you can't just write in the application, I need 50 grand for an ED. No. How many hours are they working a week? What is the payment. What is the hourly rate per week? And then how many weeks out of the year? Do you need supplies? What supplies do you need? Who's using the supplies? And here's a tip for you. Always connect the amount of the grant money that you're asking for back to your mission and back to the mission of the foundation, so that the foundation knows that the money that you're asking for helps to support their mission as well as your mission. So when you are describing how you're using the grant money, that goes into the budget narrative. And then the budget, typically those are numbers, right? So that's going to be like an Excel file. Okay? Got it? All right. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Linda, this really doesn't sound too bad. This sounds doable, but I don't know. I don't think I have time to write these grants. I don't think I have time to write these grants. But I want you to remember what I said at the beginning, that a lot of these grant applications are 2, 3, 4 pages. And AI, trust me, will give you your time back, because AI is going to save you hours when it comes to writing and submitting grant applications. And I want you to think about this, right? I have a question for you, for all of you, and I would like an answer in the chat, right? Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Let me see in the chat. I don't know if anybody has time to get free money. Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying I do. I'm seeing yes, yes. Shelly says I was thinking the same thing, because if you do you have time to get free money? This is money you don't pay back, right? Yes, ChatGPT is phenomenal. I'll talk a little bit about. Yes, Aisha. Yeah. Aisha says HE to the double L. Yeah. All right. So think about this. What are you going to do? You're going to create some relationships. Now, this is the slide here. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. This is it. This is often the deciding factor as to whether or not you're going to get grants. Did you meet with the foundation first before you submitted the grant application? They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you their grant funding. You want to meet with them, because in this meeting, they will share insight about that grant that's not even on their website. People, you've got to consider this as something other than a money grab. It's not a money grab. You're building a relationship so that you can go back in year 2, 3, 4, 5 and get grant funding. You don't want it to be one and done. So you need to build a relationship. I've literally probably set up 1,000 of these meetings. And I always come back to one, a newer nonprofit, set up a 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000 because the missions aligned. The missions aligned. And did you hear me say Zoom? The only time you're meeting with the foundations in person is if they're in close proximity to you. Most of these meetings are Zoom meetings, 30-minute Zoom meetings, because keep in mind, you're applying all over the country. So it's not even possible to get to these foundations in person. All right? You don't need to. It's not that it's not possible. You don't need to. All right? Now, how do you do this? How do you set up the meeting? I said I don't do fluff. I don't do fluff. All right? How do you set up the meeting? You send an email, excuse me, an email to the foundation. In the email, I'm going to take a quick sip. In the email, you align your mission to the mission of the foundation. You align your programming or your service or your product to where the foundation is giving, or the organization. What you're not going to do is ask for money in this email. because then you're going to be asking for a quick rejection letter. You're setting up a meeting, and in the meeting, you're asking for money. All right. Now, excuse me, it's time to find the grant money. All right. This is how you conduct grant research. Now, people, Google is fine, but I need for you to use a portal that is literally set up to give you information about grants. Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on the organizations that provide the grants. Because if you're in Detroit and you have a program where you're trying to place disabled veterans in transitional housing, you plug that into FDL, it's going to give you a list of organizations that fund that type of a program. $50 a month, excuse me, to subscribe, or totally free access at your local library. All right. Yes, you're going to have to invest just a little bit in yourself. Grants.gov. Yes, there are actually still federal grants available. Lilly Foundation is the largest funder of religious organizations. Do you have a church? Are you a faith-based organization? I know of two quite large grants right now for churches. One is strictly for Black churches. This is why I need for you to understand, people. Regardless of what you are seeing on TV and reading in the media, there are still grants available specifically for Black organizations. There's a Black church grant right now, that is open. There's a grant that is for worship. Do you know that Walmart gives grants to churches? All right. Grantwatch.com, they give you a grant list, a synopsis of the grant, and then contact information. They're $20 a week or $200 for the whole year. Grant Station is $200 for the whole year. They give you grant openings and trainings. And by the way, you can be a nonprofit or a small business and search for grants on these sites. All right. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org. They're Black owned. They're wonderful. They're phenomenal. Tell them Linda sent you. Sign up for their free training, for their free e-newsletter. They're having a huge conference in a couple of months also. Grants for Creators. Incredible list of grants. If you are a creator, anything in the area of arts and culture, poets, writers, authors, musicians, theatrical performers, right? I said writers. They're, I believe, $97 a year to subscribe to that list. The grant portal is the internet's largest grant catalog. They're $197 for the year. Instrumental, if you can afford it, they're great. They offer grants and personnel to help you with grant research, but they're $200 a month, so they're pretty pricey. You do not have to spend that kind of money to research for grants. No, not at all. All right. Now, let me just show you really quickly. This is how you're going to research using Grant Station. So the Foundation Directory Online is the portal that you can get free access at your library, the Foundation Directory Online. Or they're also called Candid. They changed their name to Candid. So ask for Candid, Candid, or the Foundation Directory Online, free at your library. Grant Station, I want you to look at the areas of interest because you need to define what you do. I'm seeing some pretty generic questions in the Q&A. You need to define what you do. The more specific you are about what you do and who you serve, the easier it will be for you to get grant money. So every category you see here, there's probably 10 or 15 drop-down boxes so that you can get super specific. All right. And then you decide who is your target population. And this is where too many of you get this wrong. People, you can't help everybody. You cannot help everybody. You should have one major target population. And then some of you may have two. But the more you try to pile on your shoulders, the less successful you will be because you end up diluting your services. Even if you have that restaurant, decide who your target population is, other than people that may live in close proximity. Is it an Italian restaurant? Is it a soul food restaurant? Right? Is it the people that like to juice? Decide on who your target population is, because foundations give according to what? Target populations. So you input the information, you push a button, you get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to all of you about location, because many of you, you're leaving money on the table. You need to start local. Don't be seduced by these $5 million government grants. Start local in your own backyard. Meet with your local community foundation. Meet with your local corporations. Do research in your own backyard. It is easier to get local grant money. It's easier. But don't disregard your national funders. There are more of them, right? Because if you find a foundation in Texas, they'd be giving money to you and you're in Tennessee. And then for my global community, this is for you as well. This is not just for organizations that are based here in the US. You could be based in the US and your target population could be in Kenya. You can get grants. You could be in Kenya and serve a population in Kenya. I have many students who are in Africa creating water wells and opening up schools. Yes, this is not just for the US, but this happens to be Grant Station. This is how you research and find grants for you. You be specific and fill in this information, and then you'll get a list that is unique to your organization. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I have this list here so that you understand when you are seeking grants. Yes, you still need to go broad, but don't stop looking for grants specific to you because you are a Black-led organization, because they are out there as well. Now, let me just go through a couple of these. That list of Black grants at the top, go to that site. Remember, you're going to get the replay. Do you have a Black-led nonprofit? There's a list of Black charities. Hello Alice, they offer many different grants for small businesses. And oftentimes they will give to communities of color. Operation Hope, this John Hope Bryant, he wants to help 1 million Black businesses. He's over 400,000. LISC, they fly under the radar screen, but they've given over $1 billion since they started. They operate in about 6 or 7 different states. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month. And they are one of the few organizations that will give a startup grant that does not require you to have earned funding or any revenues, because a lot of the startup grants, they want you to have some type of funding, some type of revenue going. Amber Grants will give you a startup grant based on your idea. Shea Moisture, are you opening up a Black hair care salon? That's a grant for you. The Ford Foundation, they're giving grants to organizations that are creating films about the African American experience, right? Let's go to Amarillo. They're in Texas. You see the word small? They literally focus on super small organizations, because some of you might be thinking, Linda, this is not for me. I'm too small. I don't have a huge team. I don't have a large organizational chart. Small organizations get grants too. All volunteer organizations get grants too. Yes, that means you. You don't need some huge organizational chart. You may be saying, look, Linda, I don't pay anybody. I don't even pay myself. I mentioned the Lilly Foundation. They give grants to Black churches and HBCUs. You have a startup? Here's 2 grants for you, busy.com and sky'sthelimit.org. And then many of you, especially if you are a nonprofit, need to be Googling. Now, this is one thing you do need to Google. Local community foundations. Google local community foundations near me. One is going to come up. You need to be meeting with them. If you are going to be really serious about getting grant money, I implore you, I beg you to be in a community. where you can get this type of information, where you can get answers to your questions, because I find that this is why people give up. They have spent so much time applying for the wrong grants because time is money, and you get frustrated, and you keep getting rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter, and you don't even know why. That's why being in a community where you can get answers and get help is so, so important. Now, really quickly, I want you to place into the chat the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks. Banks and money, banks and money, banks and money. Loans, right? Loans, Navy Federal, loans. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money in the United States? I say this to you so that you understand, people, that the money, the grant money, is coming from so many different resources other than the federal government. So I'm giving you 4 hot leads right now: Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and Truist. Bank of America and Wells Fargo each separately give over $120 million each separately a year. Yes, you need to meet with them. And no, it does not have to be your bank. I'm in Ohio. One of the largest foundations in Ohio is the Key Bank Foundation. And we also have Citizens and PNC and Huntington and Fifth Third. They all have grants, right? I'm here to tell you money is available outside of the federal government. Now, ChatGPT, if you're using it, wonderful. Just be careful, know how to use it. It is a tool. It is not a replacement for you needing to understand how to write about your organization. Nobody knows your organization better than you. And no, you don't have to write perfectly. That's what ChatGPT is for. But you need to understand how to write your mission, how to write your statement of need, how to write your impact, how to write your history. And then you can drop that information into ChatGPT so they can perfect it and rewrite it and improve upon it. But you've got to understand how to write about what nobody knows better than you. And no, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we have ChatGPT, and people, is free, right? So it can actually help you find the right funder. It can help you reframe, right, your DEI mission. It will help align your mission to the mission of foundations. It will literally help you find foundations with the same mission as yours. It will help you write better, more impactful, yes. Conduct research for you so that you know there's a need for your organization so that you can show that to the foundation. And it will write the letters of support for you. And then you just hand them out to those who you want to sign off. All right? It's phenomenal. But there's no getting around you being able to write about your organization. And please be in a community so that you can get those questions answered. I have a community. If you want to work directly with me, I will help you with writing tips. We will give you the latest grant updates, right? We will help keep you focused and accountable, right? So that you know where you should be pursuing grants. Because again, this is why people give up. They spend so much money and so much effort applying to the wrong grants. So I've created a grant writing course. It will teach you how to write every part of the grant application. It will teach you how to conduct the grant research so that you're finding the right organizations. And your secret weapon is going to be me, because I'm going to serve as your grant coach, right? So if you set up that meeting with the foundation, you may not know what to say in the meeting or how to say it, or what you never leave the meeting without knowing. You come into our private Facebook group. I have over 2,000 students just in the Facebook group, and it is a collaboration. You get help, right? Because do you know how much money you should be asking for in your grant? Because not all foundations give you a certain amount of money, especially the community foundations. They're going to ask you, what do you need? And you do not want to go in there saying, I need $1 million, because you're not going to get it. You come into our private Facebook group and just let us help you. Let us know what you need. You need some guidance, coaching on what you should be asking for. That's what the group is there for. It is a complete course. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons, but most importantly, you are getting the support. When you are done with this course, you will have a grant template. You're going to use that grant template to apply for grant after grant after grant. This is why this process is easier and faster. This is a framework that I have developed. This is why my students who are Black organizations right now, not now, right now, are winning 5 and 6 figure grants because this is a framework, right? You've got to be able to navigate through this system now, especially with these cuts. All right. And yes, I give you real examples of what a grant looks like, what a winning grant looks like, so that you know what's being funded, right? In the last 17 years, I've been hired to build grant applications, including create the grant questions. Those kinds of questions are in the course, right? Now, your bonus. I said I was here to help you. You get a list of over 600 organizations that are providing grants, over 600, multiple categories. Because what you're going to find is that most of you should be applying for grants in multiple categories, not just one. Not just one. The private Facebook group is everything. It is about collaboration. It is not about competition. And oftentimes when people come to the Facebook group, they look for other industries. Like if you have a childcare center, they will come in and say, like, are there any other childcare centers? Let's get together. It's there to help you. And I'm in there all the time answering questions. And because I want you to win grants, not just write a bunch of grants, I give group coaching, live group coaching. That's not just one and done when you buy the course. That's every single month. I have colleagues who have the grant writing course. You don't get any access to them. And their course is exponentially higher. All right? So keep that in mind. I want you to look at these numbers because you're going to pay a fraction of them for my course. And I do this intentionally because I don't want to be another hurdle that you have to get through just to learn how to get grant funding, right? So I keep this course super low, literally as low as I possibly can, so that you can afford it. But these numbers represent the value because I've had the course audited 3 times now. 12 modules, 35 lessons worth $3,549. The videos are worth almost 600. The funders list, 500. Yes, you get workbooks and planners and grant trackers, but you get the support that you need. You go step by step. And you know what? I find that the students get excited because you're talking about your organization. You're literally talking about your passion, right? But you're not paying anywhere near this. But I don't want you to be confused about what you're going to pay because it's not the value of the course. It is an audited $5,000 course. I'm not charging you that for it, nor am I, nor will I ever. My regular price is $997, a huge discount. But I haven't charged that for it all year because I know what's going on. I know you need help. It's been $497 since earlier this year. But you came on the webinar and people, I know you could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock. But you let me know that you are serious, really serious about getting grant funding because you have an organization that you're passionate about or you want to open one. And you need to know people, you are needed. Whatever it is that you are opening or you have opened, it is needed. And so you'll get to take $200 off of the $497. And this is for the full course. This is for everything. Because I'm trying to make sure that you have the opportunity to be helped by an expert, get the help you need so that you know how to apply, where to apply, and you're not wasting time because time is money, right? It's literally $297. That is correct. That is not like a monthly fee. My coaches think I'm insane. They think this should be a monthly fee, and it probably should be, but it's not. It's one and done because I'm just trying to get you help. And it pays for the entire course, the Facebook group, even the live group coaching with me. But you do have to use a code, and I there's no way I can keep it 297 forever. So it'll be 297 for 3 days. Use your code, the SEPT16. It will take off the $200. If you need more help, we have a 2-month payment plan. It's $175 a month for 2 months. Put a T on the end of the code, SEPT16 with the little T. That means 2 months. And you read right at the end. Now, people, how many times do you see a course that never expires? Because now courses, what you get, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. My course never expires because you will need the help always. All right. Now, yes, you get the course, you get the Facebook group. I know this is a lot. You get the coaching, write everything off because it's tax deductible. If you are a nonprofit, it is an expense. If you are a small business, it is a business expense or an educational expense. And yes, you even get a certificate at the end. All right. And to make it easy for you, I give you templates. Remember when I talked to you about emailing the foundation to meet with them? I have the email template. I talked to you about creating partnerships. I have the partnership email template that you send to the potential partner. I have the grant application template. I have the financial documents, right? Income statement, balance sheet. Many of you should be getting sponsorships. I even have a sponsorship kit that you can get from the Facebook group for those of you who want to pursue sponsorships. And most of you should be pursuing sponsorships. It is easier. It's actually easier. All right. All right. Now, by the way, if you're interested in getting the course, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Just use your codes so that you get those huge discounts because you have the codes, right? Other people don't have the codes. Like you have a huge discount, right? So make sure you use your code so that you get your discount. Let me show you these testimonials because these people who are people of color are winning these kinds of grants right now. Nicola, $250,000. You think about these ROI, they spent less than $300 on a course where they're being taught how to write grants. She won $250,000 in June. She only asked for $50,000, people. But the organization took a look at her grant application and said, wow, can you expand this? Can we counter? Excuse me. How would you like for a foundation to counter and give you more money than you asked for? And for those of you who are thinking, oh, I don't think there are any grants for small businesses. She has a for-profit. Whitney won $200,000. She got $40,000 from her utility company. This is why it's important to be in a community. For those of you who are serious about getting grant money, did you know that utility companies have foundations? But there's a process to this. And so often people attend like the webinar and think that they can do it on their own. And guess what happens? No accountability, they give up. This is why for a small amount of money, I make sure you are accountable and that you have the help that you need. Because for $300, people, I don't even know of a $300 grant. The first time you get a grant, you will pay for the course. But you've got to be able to invest just a little in yourself. Kanisha, $100,000. Kimberly, she's the one that won $84,000 a couple of months ago. She said it was the easiest application she had ever completed. That's because she's in the course. She knows how to complete grant applications, right? Cherie, $11,000, right? A massage company won $20,000. Sometimes it matters less what you do. Sometimes you need to apply. Because if you have a legal organization, a legal entity, there's grant money for you. You've got to find it. You have to know how to find it and where to find it. And that's what I'm here for, and that's what the course is for. Christina has an online educational company, online. Don't think you need a physical location. Now, this is an extra bonus that I'm going to give to you. If you've heard of the U.S. Black Chambers, you know that that's the lead organization for the smaller Chamber of Commerce groups that are in different cities, the Black Chamber of Commerce groups. They provide a Buy Black list. It is a list of grants for small businesses and nonprofits. I'm going to give you the latest version if you buy the course. It's $195 to subscribe. I will give you the latest version because I want you to be successful. I'm also going to invite you to a special training, a very special training. It's free on Thursday. I spoke to you about that grant meeting and how important it is. I'm going to take you through it step by step. It is oftentimes the factor as to whether or not you get grants. You need to know what to do, what to say. So I'm going to be focused on that foundation meeting. Thursday at noon, the link is in the chat. If you want to register, it's totally free. All right. Now we are done. It's time for the Q&A. But before we get to the Q&A, because you're asking really quickly, I'm going to show you how to buy the course. And then we're going to get to the Q&A. All right. Let me share my screen really quickly so that you see the link is in the chat. It's $297. You're going to hit $497 because you're going to use your $200 coupon. I'm doing this live. So input your coupon, SEPT16. You press apply. It will take off $200 instead of paying $500 like everybody else. You'll be paying $297. And you see this little block here? If you want to meet with me privately for a VIP strategy session, by the private grant coaching, it's just you and me one-on-one. I'm going to get you together in that hour because we're going to go through your mission and your vision and your website and your programming and your projects, and you're even going to leave with a little mini list of grants. It's $497 because you get the video recording of our private session and you get the session notes and an implementation plan. You leave with complete clarity. And those of you who have like 10 ideas in your head, you will leave with one. The only time you'll see it for $247, you have to buy it when you buy the course. If not, you'll be paying the $497 like everybody else. But if you want to buy it with the course, it'll be only $247. So if you want to click that and add it to the price of the course, you can. You don't have to. You can remove it. But here's something special that we are offering that you will want to know about. Now, yes, we will accept a credit card, but we're also providing buy now, pay later. 4 months, same as cash. Think about that. The course is already only $300, but divided into 4, that's $75 a month. You will probably get a grant before you've even finished paying for the course. If you want the buy now, pay later, this is what you do. When you get to the payment method, just keep hitting pay another way or new payment method, and then look for, we provide 3, Affirm, Afterpay, or Klarna. You'll be paying $75 a month, right? Typically it's 3 or 4 months, same as cash. Usually when I see it is 4. All right. All right. And if you want to just pay us twice, you can. Remember, I said we have a little 2-month payment plan. So instead of you paying $275 a month for 2 months, hit purchase now and input that coupon that I gave you. It is SEPT16 with what? That little T. You hit apply. Now you're only paying $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can add the private group coaching. All right. So that's how you buy the course. We're going to go to the Q&A. Right now, I want everybody to do one more thing for you this time, not for me. I want you to do something for you because I believe in manifestation. I believe in writing the vision down, writing down what you hope to have manifested. It has to start up here. You've got to get yourself ready mentally to pursue this money because it is available. And I don't want this to be another webinar that you sit on with getting all of this great information and you don't use it. So right now, everybody, before you leave, everybody right now, just place into the chat, get this out of you. I want you to write, I am ready to get grant money. All of you right now, I am ready to get grant money. Like manifest this, get this out of you, and then make it happen. All of you right now, write it into the webinar chat. Eric, Tammy, I'm ready to get grant money. Tammy, Aisha, I'm ready to get grant money. Speak this, like get this out of you. Speak this into the universe. Some of you have been waiting a long time. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke with a young lady. This like literally broke my heart. She'd had her nonprofit for 17 years, had never received a grant. Thankfully, she bought the course. Laura, Tamika, I'm ready to get grant money, right? Do this for you. Don't do it for me. People are waiting on you. People are waiting on you to manifest this because what you're doing, people, is needed. Please don't think what you're doing is not needed just because there are grants being cut. Your nonprofit is needed. Your small business is needed, right? All right. Now it's Q&A time. But before we get to the Q&A, we have to stop. We have to give Tammy some love because Tammy was like, Linda, I'm tired. I'm tired of not knowing where I should be going, what I should be doing. People, time is money. How many rejection letters have you had and you have no idea why you were rejected? Come get help. So I need to see some love for Tammy. I need to see some clapping of hands. I need to see some hearts because she said, you know what, I'm getting ready to invest in myself. And good for you. Good for you, Tammy. I will see you in the Facebook group. And I'm going to do something special for you and everybody else that signs up. Now, this is off the cuff. This is different than, this is in addition to what you get with the course. When you come into the Facebook group, because when you buy the course, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be your link to the Facebook group. When you come into the Facebook group, this is important. I'm going to ask you to give me a synopsis about your organization. Give me 3 or 4 sentences. Let me know where you're located. Let me know if you're a nonprofit or for-profit. And I'm literally going to give you links to some grant opportunities. I am going to do that for you because I want you to get off to a good start. All right. So Tammy, look out for that email or that message in the Facebook group where I'm asking you to give me a synopsis and do it. Turn your notifications on for the group because we place so many grants in the Facebook group. You want to be notified when we place the grants, but I'm going to help you and anybody else that buys the course once you get into the Facebook group because I want you to get off to a good start. All right? All right. That's right. Way to go, Tammy. Okay, Q&A. What did you say about the library? So the Foundation Directory Online, which is also called Candid, that program is free at your local library. So when you get to the library, go to the librarian and let them know you need access to the Foundation Directory Online so that you can look for grants. It's free if you go through the library. If you want to sit at home and search, it's $50 a month. All right. Now, oh, this is a great question. I'm going to break this question down. I don't know what category I belong in. I'm wanting to open an RV park that hires felons and homeless people. All right. So we've got multiple categories. Remember, I said most of you can apply to multiple categories, right? So you want to open up an RV park that hires felons and homeless people. I'm in Ohio. I just moved from Cleveland. And in Cleveland, there is a renowned program. It is by the Edwins Institute. He has a 3-star, it may be a 4-star restaurant. He receives so much grant money. Why? Because he hires ex-offenders and trains them as chefs, right? So you have multiple categories that you should be applying for. right? At least 4 or 5. One, Tamika, I'm assuming I don't like to make assumptions, but let's say that you're female. Apply for grants geared towards women-led organizations. That's one. You're a person of color. Two, apply for grants geared towards people of color. Three, right? You want to hire ex-offenders. There are programs specifically that will give funding to organizations that work with ex-offenders. That's number three. You also want to help the homeless. There are grants specifically for organizations that serve the homeless. That's number four. Right now, I don't know what you want to do with the RV park or what kind of RV park it is, but depending upon what it is and how you're going to serve the community, that's going to be category number five. Depends on what you're going to be doing with this RV park. So at least five categories for you, right? Just based on those two sentences. This is why all of you need to be in a community where you can get help. Because would you have known that, right? Would you have known that? That's why time is money. Time is money. All right. So get the help that you need quickly so that you're not wasting a lot of time, because literally, this is what I've seen over 17 years. This is how people give up. They get frustrated. They get frustrated. All right. The link is in the chat. So the link is in the chat for those of you who are asking to buy the course. I'm going to start at the top of the webinar chat because I did see questions there, and then I'm going to come down a little bit slowly. All right. I just want to make sure I get all of the questions. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. So the $297, that's one payment. That's one payment. All right. That's not a monthly payment. Our Children Matter Corporation, 6 years strong, helping youth and families through community outreach and assistance. You should absolutely be applying for grants, Anthony. I don't know if you're still here. All right, let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Yeah, someone said, yes, he said, forget those loans. Loans, they have their place, but pursue also grant funding. Trying to help my brother, who is a pastor, get grants for a senior citizens enrichment and wellness program. Is that through the church? That's a phenomenal idea. Let me say a couple of words about this. Because if you are a church and you are applying for grants, right? It has to be more than I'm a church and I need grant. I need a grant. What are you needing the grant for? How is it that you're going to use the grant? I spoke to you about a worship grant. There is a Preserving Black Church grant through the Lilly Foundation, right? You should be applying for that grant, but you're very specific. You want to start a senior citizens enrichment and wellness program, right? So once again, there's probably 4 or 5 different categories where you should be seeking funding, because your target population is the elderly population. There are organizations that specifically provide grant money to those who serve the elderly, right? And it appears as if you want to serve them in this area of health and wellness, which is another category, right? So you should be applying, Tammy, to multiple categories. Got my LLC, went homeless. I'm sorry to hear that. And took 3 years until I got a job. Didn't know the next steps. Well, here you are. Here you are. That is to be praised right there, right? And I'm glad that you're here. Are there any small businesses that are not grant friendly? Those that are illegal, those that are illegal, right? But also, if you are a small business, I want you to think about what's making you different. I have a student. She's a designer. She's a fashion designer, and she's a tailor. And she does very well in her business. She is a student, right? So she's trying to get grant money, right? But this is what she does with the extra fabric that she has. She makes garments for women who are in domestic violence shelters. She's an LLC. She's a small business, but look what she's doing. So you have to ask yourself, what is different about what I'm doing? What is that little something extra that's going to get the attention of foundations? Let's say you have a jewelry company, you want an online jewelry store. There's probably a million of them. What is making you different? Do you offer homemade jewelry? Do you offer jewelry for people with sensitive skin? What is making you different? That's what you have to think about when you're applying for grants. And then we can help you frame that. AI will help you frame your difference when you know what to feed it, right? So the course will teach you how to come up with your narrative and then put it into AI and ask AI, how can I set myself apart based on what I fed to you, right? This is what you learn how to do. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm a member of two nonprofits. My church gives scholarships to seniors, and for my former high school, which was closed for integration in 1970, schoolmates still celebrate school reunions and give scholarships to legacy graduates. So I don't see a question there, but I will let you know, don't ask for grants for sponsorships. That's not what grant money is for, right? So if you're trying to get grant money to then just give out in forms of scholarships, doesn't work that way. Organizations do not want to give you money to give out. What you can do is ask for the money to help pay for your administrative cost, right? So somebody is handling the processing of these scholarships. Somebody is determining who gets the scholarships. So maybe you need to be paying them. So ask for money to pay for your administrative costs, not to give out the scholarships. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Other questions. There's still time to ask questions. All right. Let's see. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just going through here. Yes, you do write it off. It is tax deductible. So if you are a nonprofit, you're not paying taxes, but you still have your expenses. So you can list it as an expense. The replay will be available in the email. So that reminds me, Melissa, if you could please drop my email address. This is very important, people. Drop my email address into the webinar chat. Everybody, please add this email to your email contact list. So Linda Peavy, and then add the email so that when you receive the email with the replay, you will get it and won't go to your spam folder, because that's a huge issue now with emails going to spam, like across industries. But that doesn't happen when you add the information to your email list, to your safe senders list or your email contact list. So I need for you to add that email, because for the next 3 days, you've got 3 days, by the way, to get the discount. You got 3 days, you have until Friday. So you're going to get an email with your replay and then with the link to buy the course. So I really hope I see all of you. I really hope I see all of you in this course so that you can start knowing how to get this grant funding. And be careful, because people, 17 years, I've seen just about everything. People get this information and they say, okay, I got enough to try to do it myself. And what happens? The accountability isn't there. The next thing in your life or in your business happens and you forget about it. And then you're back to square one, right? All right. How do we get a grant for a facility for a nonprofit? It's all about what the facility is being used for. Remember, be specific. What are you using the facility for? That is what is going to lead you to where you should be applying for grants. And that's what we help you with in the course. What are you using the facility for? Because that will help you to determine where you should be looking. Do you need the EIN and the 501c3 before you start applying for grants? Yes. So let me say something about the 501c3. You don't have to wait until you get it before you start doing the research, you should be doing the research and the writing now so that when you get your 501c3, all you have to do is clip it to the application and mail it off. Because that's really all you're doing is just clipping a copy of it to the grant application, right? And putting your EIN number in there. But you all should be right now researching and finding these grants. And grants are available, by the way, all year round. All year round. Because if you ever see when you're looking for a grant, the term rolling, rolling, it means you can apply it any time of the year. There's no certain deadline. Grants are available all throughout the year. And especially, we're coming up on the fourth quarter. You know where there are so many grants, so much grant money given in the fourth quarter? One, you've got Giving Tuesday, right? But also, many of these foundations, they have an allotment of money that they're supposed to give out in their calendar year. And the closer they get to December 31st, they need to be giving that money out because it's mandated by their board often that they want to give a certain amount of money every year, right? So sometimes they have to scramble a bit to give away the funding in the fourth quarter. All right. All right. I see a question about startups. Yes, definitely there are startup grants. All right, let's see. How do you find the grants and the foundations? So we went through that. I showed you how to find the grants and how to find the foundations. Just go back through the replay. Food banks, grocery stores, libraries, schools, community engagement. I think you were listing who your community partners are going to be. I'm not sure what your company is, though. Community partnerships is important. Use your voice. It helps everyone know who you are for real. Absolutely. But that's the beauty of community partners because you can let them talk for you. So not only are you sharing information about your organization, but when you partner with especially a well-respected organization, let them talk for you, right? Let them talk with you because they're going to get the attention of those foundations because they're very well known in the community. You can't have enough community partners. All right. Anthony is saying local partners can be the governor, city councilman, all of those people who know who you are, right? And you're right. You have to network. You've got to get your information out. I said it earlier. You've got great programs. How many people know about the program? How many people know about you? All right. If you want to start an online wig and bundle business, what category of grants could a person search for? What type of funder? So that is the beauty industry. And so that sounds like a online small business. So you're looking for small business grants, startup grant, but that's definitely the beauty industry, right? But what are you doing differently? What are you doing differently with your online wig store? How is it different? There are students in the course, in the Facebook group, that create custom wigs for cancer patients. So that's what makes them different. They have custom wigs that they create, custom made for cancer patients. What are you doing a little bit differently, right? The name of the Facebook group is Grant Writing for Non-Writers, and you have to be a student to be admitted. All right. Let's see. Other questions. All right. I signed up for Sparks for Walmart. There have been several students to get that grant. The Sparks for Walmart, the Walmart Sparks grant, several students in the course have received that grant. Several. Chamber of Commerce as well. They don't help with grants as well for nonprofits in your state. So it depends on, I think you're asking a question. It depends on where you are located because there are Chamber of Commerce groups that absolutely give grant funding. I make sure that I'm a member of my chamber. I'm a member of several chambers. I'm a member of my local Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm a member of the local citywide Chamber of Commerce. I'm also a member of the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce. And I know that my citywide chamber provides grants for professional development. And then the Black Chamber that I've been associated with, they just provide free services, right? That you would otherwise sometimes pay quite a bit for. All right, the library. I mentioned that before. It's the Foundation Directory Online. You can get free access at your local library. All right. Let me see. Okay, somebody is mentioning credit unions. Let me say a word about credit unions because there's a big difference between, as you know, a bank and a credit union. If you are seeking grants, go to your banks. Credit unions don't often give grants, but they do give sponsorships. You should be seeking sponsorships from your banks and your credit unions. All right. Anthony said that he applied to the grants through some of these banks. I hope you met with them. You need to meet with them. You need to meet with them, especially the banks. You need to meet with them and you need to make sure you have your financials in order because they're banks. They're all about financial stewardship, right? All right. All right, let me get down to the end. I see a few more questions. Let me just get down to the end here. All right. And then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Okay, I answered the question about the, it's not a grant list. It's an entire portal, right? I should put it into the chat. Excuse me. It's the Foundation Directory Online. It's also called Candid. Free access at your local library. All right. But ask yourself, like, do you know what to do if you get the list? If you get the list, do you know what to do? That's what's important. You'll get a list. You will absolutely get a list of organizations that provide grants. But do you know what your next step is? That's what the course will help you with. And keep in mind, we do offer the buy now, pay later, which is $75 a month for 4 months. All right. The replay will be available in your emails. Are there foundation grants for helping at-risk youth, for mentorship, ministry training, for outreach and facilitators training? Yes. Go back and look in your email, Tammy. You'll get the link to the Facebook group, but that's okay because we're now that I know that you are that you bought the course, look for an email with an invite and just click it and then you'll be in. But go back through those 3 emails because in one of the emails, there is a link to the Facebook group. Click that. You will be invited in, right? Once we're done here, you'll be right. You'll receive entry into the Facebook group. Okay. But don't worry about that because we'll make sure that if you didn't, for whatever reason, get that link, you'll get an invite directly from the group. You'll be serving cancer patients and offering delivery. That's a completely separate category right there. So that literally adds to where you should be searching for grants. Is there a limit on how many grants one can apply for? Absolutely not. There is no limit on this money, people. No, there is no limit on the amount of money that you can get. You should be getting multiple grants. Have you ever heard of like the major organizations? They get like they got $1 million grant and then they utilize the money and then they go out of business. They go under because they got the $1 million. They were so focused on, oh my gosh, we got $1 million. They didn't think to still keep applying for other grants so that they could sustain their organizations, right? Because now even foundations don't want to give you money if you can't help in the process of getting money for year 2, 3, and 4. You should be applying to different organizations to get as much money as possible. because no foundation wants to give you a grant and think that when that grant money is gone, there goes your organization. That's why diversifying and bringing in funding from not only grants, but sponsorships as well. I have a sponsorship kit for you in the course. If you're thinking about creating a sponsorship program where you are literally asking for sponsorships, it's easier than you think to get sponsorship money from your local businesses, but you have to ask. It's easier than you think to get money for your organization. You have to know how to ask. And I even have a sponsorship kit for you, for those of you who want a sponsorship kit. All right. Rental car business, but it's considered high risk. I would focus on what are you providing to the community with that rental car business? I don't know if it's considered high risk because the people that you're renting to are high risk, or is it just because of insurance, whatever insurance you have to have covered. But think about how are you serving your community with that rental car business? Really do a deep dive into the customers that you serve. Do some research about who you serve because you can utilize the customers that you serve as a benefit to why you should be getting grant funding. Because maybe you're serving a community where there's maybe the elderly, they don't always have a car, but they rent cars to go on different events, right? That will help them be out into the community or maybe travel. There are so many ways that you can reframe that negativity into something positive. And again, that's why it's important to be in a community that can help you do that can help you with that reframing. I believe that is it. Let me make absolutely sure. I'm going to run through one last time to make sure there are no more questions over here in the Q&A. Yes, you've got 3 days to use the discount code. You've got 3 days to use the discount code to get the course. All right. You've got 3, and hopefully I will see all of you on Thursday. Please come to that session because I want you to know how to meet with the foundations. Oftentimes it is the difference as to whether or not you're going to get the grant funding. So you need to know what you should be doing. All right. So I've answered all of the questions in the Q&A. I've gone through the webinar chat. I believe we are done. I'm make absolutely sure here. I want to thank all of you for hopping on because I know you could have been elsewhere. So thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you in the Facebook group over the course of the next 3 days, starting to get the help that you need because we're about helping organizations get funding, right? Not just your big grants, but your small grants, because for some of you, $5,000 would make a huge difference. $1,000 would make a huge difference. We just dropped so many grants in the Facebook group, so many grants for nonprofits and small businesses, right? And again, often these are small applications in terms of the page count. And keep in mind for those of you who are a little bit fearful of this, I say this to everybody and I live by it. Your success is on the other side of your fear. It just is. Your success is on the other side of your fear because you have the opportunity to have a grant expert help you with this process for $75 a month for 4 months. And then you have lifetime access to everything. All right? All right. So I want to thank you all so much. I know you could have been elsewhere. Thank you for hopping on. I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope whatever you do, you use this information to move forward, that you don't stop because there are people waiting on you. You are waiting on you to get this done. What you're contemplating is needed. Your nonprofit, your for-profit. There are ways in which you don't have to be using all of your own funds, right? That is important. So I hope to see you all. I hope to see you all this week so that you can start learning how to actually win free grant funding. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of Apollo Consulting. And I hope this has been helpful. I know for me it's a privilege to be able to teach you. So do this for you. You've got to move forward. Don't be discouraged by what you're seeing on TV. There's grant money available. You can do this step by step. You can do it because most of those people, most of those Black people that you saw giving those testimonials had never written a grant before. They're not professional grant writers. All right. So thank you so much. And be safe. Be safe, be smart, and be encouraged. All right. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you in the course, but also Thursday as well for that special training. All right. Remember, you got 3 days. You have until Friday. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you and have a great, great, great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.